Hey everybody, Pastor Kirk here, here with Pastor Josh for another update on Living Stones Church in this soft launch period and what's going on, what's happening. So Josh, welcome back from vacation. That's the first thing. How was your 2-week vacation? It sounds like it was a good time.
It was good. It was super restful. Yeah. We spent the first couple days just getting ready to spend 5 days in McCall with the family. And so we rented an Airbnb up there. And we were like 3 minutes from the lake, which was great. So we got to spend, time each day at the lake with the boys and celebrate our 12-year anniversary up there.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much. It was a really good time, super restful. Basically just turned my phone off and got to do some reading and really enjoyed the peace and quiet up there. And then the second week we were back here in town and I just did a bunch of house projects. We had a bunch of stuff that needed to get done and it was really nice to be able to use kind of a different part of my brain and my body like in a way that I don't always get to. I just did a bunch of yard work, worked on some projects, organization in the house, like 7 to 9 hours, Monday to Saturday. So it felt good, productive. It was a good time and, just haven't had an opportunity to do that in several years, so that was good. But so I'm back now, ready to roll. I'll be preaching the next couple weeks, and you are heading out of country to Romania.
I am tomorrow,
So you want to share a little bit about that trip, who you're going with, and what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, we've mentioned a little bit, but there's a guy from our church named Aaron Delisio. He's one of the members of the team, and then we've got 2 members from Calvary Boise, and this kind of fits the vision of what we want to do, just generally speaking, with the Global Missions Collective, of having opportunities for people to be on mission from different churches and be able to kind of engage in work with good partners that have been vetted, and just know that discipleship can happen both for the team members and also for coming alongside long-term works. And so excited about that. I'll be partnering with a church in Bistrița, Romania for an English camp for about 30 to 40 kids. Thanks to everybody who has already donated a little bit of money. And if you want to give towards the trip in any way, there's a general fund, and then you can give towards Aaron or myself. But I mean, I don't really need money, so just more would love any general donations if you feel led to do that. But more, really, the whole purpose of this camp, they've run it for several years, is to get alongside poorer kids who don't have an opportunity to get English tutors and things like that. You play games with them, you have fun, and then you teach them English. And as a part of that, you tell your stories, your testimonies. They call it life stories every night, and you're sharing with kids. And had some great conversations in the past. It's wonderful. So that's the first part. And then I'll be preaching at the church on Sunday, and then going over to Timișoara from Bistrița to visit Vlad and Iona, who New City had supported for how many years? I don't know, like
maybe 2-3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been church planting partners with us through our relationship with Acts 29, and it's been awesome getting to know them. So I'm really glad that you actually knew Vlad as well, like in addition to our knowledge of him and supporting of him. And so it's really great that like now that our 2 churches have come together as one, that we can maintain that partnership, and then you get to go visit him.
Yeah, I wish you could go too. But
I know. Just a season of life right now, just not able to.
I actually did a video call with him the other day, and it was just like, oh man, catching up after so many things. And if people don't know, I knew him in England and actually did a seminary course part-time with him for a season as well through Oak Hill Theological College. So that was great. So that's happening, and then I will be back I fly back on the 15th of August, and then that weekend, so you're preaching for a couple of weeks here. I'm excited about that. I'm going to watch from afar, and then we'll have a guest from Living Stones, Spanish Springs, down by Sparks in Nevada, Mark South. He'll be preaching on the 17th. And then after that, we're going to have a week where we're in the park at Julia Davis Bandshell with 2 other churches here locally, Trinity, Boise, and Calvary Boise. So that's a kind of a Sunday where we won't have a service on Sunday morning, but we will have a great celebration with the wider, some members of the wider body of Christ. And so maybe, I don't know, like not everybody is into like park events or church in the park, and it can feel like a disruption, but maybe we should talk about that and help people understand.
Yeah, why don't you share a little bit about kind of how this came about and how Living Stones is part of this, from ministry partners that you've had in the past. And
I mean, I we talked about this at our elders meeting last week. Really, Living Stones Church here in Boise would not exist if Calvary Boise did not send me to do the revitalization at Cole, and also supported financially.
Yes,
significant. Paid my salary for a year, continue to pay half my salary throughout this year, actually. And
then gave us a quite a donation to get started and get things going here and support our missions collective.
So I mean, we had a $50,000 gift from Calvary. Half of that went to our Global Missions Collective as a matching fund, which will be announced later for people to give towards if they want to, and then the rest just to our church. So we really felt like, as we talked about it, like, hey, we're going to continue. I'm going to continue to have a relationship with the other pastors in that little mini relational network. We may not do the same things we did before. Like we'll be teaching the same series with Living Stones in some of the churches that we partner with at times. And we may not do that necessarily with these guys anymore, but we want to just honor that relationship and spend time worshiping together one last time in the summer during our soft launch period. We really thought this is the time to do that if we're going to do it. And so I feel like it's going to be a good celebration. It's going to be fun. And I mean, also, it's just amazing. I don't know if you've been to anything like that where there's just like hundreds of baptisms taking place.
Right. And so that is that's going to be a big part of this church service as well, as baptisms in the river.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking about that a little bit. We want to maybe have an opportunity there and for people, and then an opportunity maybe on our launch Sunday for baptism. So we're working that out right now, just so everybody knows like how we're going to do baptism, and you'll probably lead a baptism class and kind of get people together on that. But so I'm excited for Church in the Park. I think it'll be good. It is a long event and it's a fun event. So come, we'll have a link out there where you can sign up. If you want to volunteer, you can bring obviously some side dishes, though there's hot dogs and some other things provided. There's games for the kids. It will be fun. It's designed to be more of an event, and be praying because people come every year. Quick story, sorry, I don't want to go on too long about this, but a lady came last year, and when the preaching was happening, she was a gal who was pregnant and going to have a baby soon, but God just spoke to her, and she ended up, we say we had both a credo and a pedo baptism because she got baptized that day. Awesome. So anyway, be praying that other people, outsiders, come and hear the gospel and want to follow Jesus.
It's going to be a very public event, and it's a great event if you've got friends who, may be curious about church, and, going into a church building could be a little intimidating to them right now. This will be a great event to invite them to, and you can come for all of it or just a part of it. It's a 5 to 6 hour thing that afternoon. So
1 to 4 is kind of like the games and fun and eating, and then 4 o'clock is the worship gathering with music. And we won't be taking communion. I know that's sometimes hard for people, but because it's a joint thing in a park, some of the logistics. So we won't be doing that, but we'll worship in song, and we will hear the word preached, and then we'll go down for baptisms and even honestly, just watching other people baptized, it's amazing. So,
it's going to be great.
So that's Church in the Park. We had our own mini versions, I guess, on Wednesday nights a couple times this summer. There's picnics in the park. Do you want to kind of give a report on how that went and how you feel about that?
I mean, both of them were very well attended. At the end of June, and then just now, yesterday, at the end of July here, we had, we wanted everyone in the church to kind of come together for just a very casual picnic in the park. And so we met at Ann Morrison the first time, and then we met at Winstead Park last night. And from what I could see and tell, people are connecting, getting to know each other. And both times I had people who joined from New City, people who joined from Cole, and people who have joined us since then, just kind of saying like this, we love what God's doing here, and just getting to know people from the other churches, and as we've come together as one church, people have been very intentional to share those things with me. And I mean, it's been a humbling experience, like really just to see the way that the Lord has worked in this, and honestly to see the way that people also have, put aside maybe preferences and humbled themselves to see what is God doing here and how can I be a part of it. Has been awesome. So people have been really social. We've got a lot of kids running around, and they've both gone very, very well.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's something we can continue to do as the weather's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can talk in a minute about maybe plans for community in the fall, but just wanted to share. Yeah, we've had a lot of people we interact with. And one story I would share from last night is I was talking to a gentleman, a guy who had been at another church here in town, had kind of been displaced in church, and then he ended up, because of our relationship, he ended up at Living Stones, and he was just asking like, hey, I love what's happening here. How can I be involved? What are the needs?
Yep.
And so I said, well, what are your gifts? How have you served in the past? And he talked about like just serving people in, helping people move, helping people build stuff at their house, a big service ministry really. And so I connected him with Jay Remley, who's our deacon who kind of works with those things. And so it was just really neat to see God guiding, because I know there is a need for service ministry, and then there's somebody with gifts. And so I think that illustrated the importance of these events, because it's like, hey, we're discovering who people are as we've come together, and then where do we all fit into this picture? And so that's something we want everybody to be involved with, is like, how do you find your place? So anything you would say on that? Or
I've been really encouraged by people who've either reached out to me or other members on staff, just saying, hey, where are the needs? I had a text this past week. Someone had said, they scanned the QR code and looked at all the needs, and they're like, "Whoa, there's a lot of different places to serve. Like, maybe what are those main areas that we could really use help in?" And it's hard to say maybe what the highest needs are as we're coming together as a new church. There's I would say like everything's kind of a big priority to get locked in, but I mean, kids ministry, nursery, if you have the gift of teaching, to teach once a month in our kids ministry would be a huge help. We've got a bunch of different building projects that Chase, our facilities manager, is taking care of, and he could certainly use help. If you're interested in, if you're good at swinging a hammer or painting or, anything like in that nature, we could connect you with Chase on a Sunday, and he could get your number and let you know those types of things as well. And then Sunday, welcoming, greeting ministry, and helping to set up communion and serve as an usher on communion as well. I mean, those are the first things that kind of come to my mind.
No, that's good. I think too, like setup team in particular, I think needs people to get there early, make sure everything's in place, and make sure everything's clean, looking good, and then afterwards being the last people there to kind of like turn the lights off and all that kind of stuff. I know that one of our gospel community leaders, Ron Hilbrands, who was part of Cole, now part of Living Stones, he has mentioned to me a couple times. So if you would want to come and set up early, that would be
what is early?
Wonderful. Yeah. Oh, I don't know actually. That's a great question.
8:45-ish.
I think. Yeah,
9.
I think it's probably 8:39-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to check on that.
Yeah.
I should know that. Every Sunday morning, I'm up at like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. So I don't always know what the schedule is, but I should. Yeah. So I would say like let's put you in touch with Ron, who oversees that. I think that's really important. As far as the building projects, we're going to be in the auditorium painting the walls because the kids get them dirty, so repainting them. Building some acoustic panels so that we're saving. We're doing those half cost because we bought it and we're going to do it DIY. So we'll need people to staple fabric, build wood boxes to house like the fiberglass material, and just put them up on the wall. So that's a project. And there's quite a few things like that. And here's what I'd say is God has been so gracious in this period. I don't know if people know this, but people have donated time, but also even some of their treasure, some of their money for projects. So, for example, somebody just donated to pay for the offices to be recarpeted. Somebody
Very
donated
for
some speakers in the lobby so that we don't have to have a little Bluetooth speaker up there.
The sign out front.
The sign out front.
Future sign out front. Someone donated toward that. Yeah.
So
so generous, just incredible. I think when I see stuff like that happening, like to me, that just communicates like we're bought in. We want to see this church here for the long haul, and so we want to give of our time and our money to make that happen. So just I don't know who those people were who gave, but I just want to say thank you for that, and thank you. The whole church is going to be grateful for those things that are being added to the building for sure.
Yeah, and so we're in this soft launch period. We're figuring all this out. So if you want to serve or you want to be involved in any of these ways, keep talking to us. It takes some time to kind of like shepherd everybody and get everybody in place, but we love the fact that people are wanting to be connected and be all in. So that's good. So let's talk a little bit then. Our soft launch is Sunday, September 7th, or our public launch.
Public launch,
full launch. And so we're going to make that fun. We're going to have barbecue out back. It's going to be our kids. They're going to do pop-up Sunday. They're going to go up to their next grade levels then. We're going to have maybe some games and some
activities for kids and families
back,
afterward for sure.
So, I mean, obviously we're going to worship and we're going to have the word preached and take communion. But so I just want to encourage people to plan for that September 7th.
Yeah, stick around a little bit afterward. Show up a little bit early.
Invite a friend, who doesn't yet know Jesus. So, so that's happening. And then as we get into the fall, going back to kind of community, what are we thinking for like our gospel communities? Because that's really an area that you're helping to shape.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think, one of the things that we need to keep in mind is that, as a church, we value the Sunday worship gathering. That is such an important part of being a Christian and being a part of a community and worshiping the Lord together and receiving the means of grace, right, through the preaching of the word, through communion, through fellowship. But in addition to that, we believe that everyone in our church, we'd love to see everyone in our church involved in a gospel community. And so we place a big emphasis on that. If someone's, saying, how do I get involved in the life of the church beyond Sunday? The first thing we're going to say is get involved in a gospel community. And so our goal is to have gospel communities really in every neighborhood across the city. And, in Meridian and Eagle as well. And so as we're getting ready to launch gospel communities this fall, we're going to have a gospel community leaders meeting at the end of the end of August. And that'll just be a time to bring our gospel community leaders together, talk a little bit about how we want to do gospel communities, what that's going to look like, what expectations are for them. And also, I think I've shared this before, maybe a few videos ago, but I don't know all of our gospel community leaders yet. I want to get to know them, and just kind of hear how things have been going, what would be helpful for, how you and I can support the gospel community leaders. And then basically over the course of the next year, I'd like to meet with every gospel community leader twice, just for coffee, to talk, to pray, to hear how things are going, to how we can be an encouragement, and just to get to know them better as well, so that, over the next several years, we can support our gospel community leaders, better than we have in the past. That's our goal, to continue to improve and grow. And then in maybe mid-September, our hope then would be to bring all of the gospel communities together. If you're involved in a gospel community, come to the building on a Wednesday night, and we're just going to talk through what does it look like to be a part of a gospel community, why do we value these groups, and what role they play in carrying out the mission of the church. Because our gospel communities are not like little silos that kind of just do their own thing. They're engaged in and supporting the mission of the church, which is to make and mature disciples of Jesus.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and to help everyone find everything in Jesus. That's what we want to be about. So, that's just kind of a quick update. And then basically over the course of the next several months, every 5 to 6 weeks, we'll bring all of our gospel communities together again for a time of teaching and training, just so that we know what we're doing. I think one of the things that you tend to hear sometimes from people in gospel communities is like, what are we actually supposed to be doing, right? And we don't want anyone asking that question, because we want to communicate so well what our gospel communities are supposed to be about. And so, again, every 5 to 6 weeks during the fall and then into the winter and spring, we want to bring everyone together for a time of teaching and reorientation around what it is that our gospel communities are supposed to be about. So
that's good.
Yep. That's what's coming up for that.
That's exciting. Yeah. Looking forward to that. And I think, also it's also fun just to get everybody together, have a meal, and then it's almost like a launch for the fall when when we get to that point, and supporting one another. Like, hey, we're committed to living life in community together, and we're kind of sending each other to do that at that time.
Well, and I would say maybe one other thing that we're really hopeful that can come of this is, our long-term plan for gospel communities is to have all of our gospel communities meeting based on geographical location. And it's going to take time to get there, and that that's okay. But one of the things that we want to do at those meetings also is have people sit by their zip codes, so that you can get to know someone who might live a block over from you, who goes to our church, and you didn't know that. As we've got people coming together from 2-3 churches now. and new people coming as well. So we want you to know your neighbors, and hey, maybe you've got a neighbor who goes to Living Stones and you haven't had an opportunity to meet them yet. So we want to get people connected that way too.
That's great. Great. So I think that's wonderful. One other special kind of event that I want to mention, just because of Heart for Mission, is we have an opportunity. An Acts 29 church planner from Turkey, Kerem Koch, he will be in town on September 10th, the Wednesday after our public launch. We're going to hold, Lord willing, a special night, a vision kind of mission night on that Wednesday night. So we want to maybe set that aside if we could. I think that's even an equipping for the gospel communities to be aware of the global mission. I think that helps them as well. I know at Cole in the past, for example, their growth groups, as they called them, were very instrumental in supporting global workers as well. And so I think, so that'll be September 10th, Lord willing. He'll be here, and you'll get a chance to hear about ministry in Turkey, church planting in a very difficult place.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. And hopefully, I'm always so encouraged when I have an opportunity to sit and listen to a missionary and what the Lord is doing through their ministry in whatever context they're in. And so, even if you don't have plans at the moment to be a missionary overseas somewhere, who knows what the Lord might do through this also, just encourage you to come and hear what's going on. But I think more importantly would be to say, to listen to a missionary and the work that they're doing and how you can apply that to our context here in Boise.
That's right.
And, we're all called to be missionaries living, weekly on mission in our local context. And so sometimes it just takes someone from another context to share about what they're doing for you to be able to say, well, I can do that right here in my neighborhood, to be inspired and encouraged, to be living out the mission of making disciples. So I'm passionate about that. And, again, who knows what the Lord can do through that in our hearts. So excited for him to be here.
Yeah. And so, I think what you're saying is so true, because he is indigenous Turkish, has a great story I want everyone to hear, actually. And so that's a model for us. He's passionate about his context. We should be passionate about ours as well. Yeah. So last couple things just to let people know as we go into this next period. In the fall, we are going to also open up to people an opportunity to go through our elder and training program, because we do have at the end of the year a couple elders coming off of the elder team. And so we want to begin to prepare. We're not going to just haphazardly or quickly appoint people.
Right.
And Living Stones.
The scriptures tell us not to do that.
The scriptures tell us, and we agree as being part of Living Stones as the network that we're going to have a training process, which I wanted to do and did already.
I'm excited for it. Yep.
So watch out for that. If you would like to put yourself forward to be in that elder training program, talk to us. We'll be talking to maybe some specific people as well. And then there'll be another thing like that called Leader Launch. And that is for deacons, gospel community leaders, others to go through just for leadership training. So look for those opportunities. We believe in making disciples. We're disciples making disciples, and that's taking people who already are mature Christians and then also taking them to the next stage of leadership in their discipleship. And so we want that to continue to happen. And we are going to, as the church is blessed and flourishes, we're going to need more elders, we're going to need more deacons, we're going to need more gospel community leaders. So just thought I'd mention that as
it's great. I'm excited.
So anything else you want to mention before we close up?
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Living Stones Church, much love to you in Christ. I will see you in a couple weeks, and I'm excited to listen to Josh preach over the next couple weeks and to see you soon. So God bless you guys. Talk to you soon.